through your freedom.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America.
Well, here we are, folks. We are back. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel, folks. Unbelievable what's going on. Biden Brandon, Gigi Brandon, Jackass Joe, as I like to call him. He is the hero of Davos. Remember that battle? Davos? The Battle of Davos? No one does, because there's no battle fought there. That's where the rich bastards that want to run the world, that's where they hang out. In peace, tranquility, taking treasure baths, that is to say, sitting in a bathtub just covered in gold coins that they've stolen from other people. These guys are amazing, folks, but hey, enough myth, enough goofing around. Let's have some real SHTF examination. What is going on, folks? Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan? Are you prepared for what's coming? Oh, it's just started. And everybody who thinks, we were all full of shit. We made a mistake. We didn't know what we were talking about. There's nothing that we could do that will make things any better, any easier, help out. Nope. In fact, folks, the truth is that every single thing you do matters. Every person you reach out to matters. Everybody. Right? The more you prep, the more you help yourself, your family, and everyone around you. The more you reach out, the bigger a difference you make. Don't stop. Don't quit. Don't give up. Right? Now, I know that it's getting more difficult out there, folks. It is. It is. They are, inflation on the rise. Lack of materials, lack of goods on the rise. Everything that is wrong is on the rise, folks. But these liars are out here. They lie in every way, folks. Jackass Joe Biden, while making remarks about Hurricane Ian, while talking to the victims of that, he makes another bullshit claim that a lightning strike destroyed most of his home. This guy makes up shit. I don't know if his speechwriters make it up for him or if he just makes it up himself. But that is a tremendous insult to everyone's intelligence, period, folks. And while we're on that topic, the FBI has now arrested an Ohio Christian pastor because he made a sermon in his church about a stolen election. And then back in 2021, January 6th, folks, almost 2 years ago, over a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, he actually walked into the U.S. Capitol. And now the FBI is arresting him. They're still making arrests, folks, for a non-crime. The FBI are the Gestapo. The FBI are a Nazi Democrat tool. The FBI are a political police force. You think it's getting better? It is not. Okay, folks, get your questions in down below to Jolene. Email them. Carrier pigeon, smoke signals, whatever it takes. Let's get your comments and your thoughts. It is horrifying what they're doing to us. Are you prepared? Do you have a self-defense plan? Because you are going to be responsible for you when shit goes south. Now, back to Joe Biden. Over the Florida hurricane. He said, that's right, folks, Planet Retard leader Joe Biden said that Hurricane Ian ended the debate on climate change. Did you know that political statements are now the same as scientific proof? All Joe Biden has to do is proclaim something. And like Emperor of Rome or Führer of Nazi Germany, whatever he says is law. Whatever he proclaims is truth. Whatever spills out of his mouth is fact. Folks, we have always had hurricanes, right? Over in Louisiana and Texas, down in Florida, everywhere, hurricanes every year. Why is it now different? Why is it now climate change that caused this? Was this a weather weapon attack on Florida? Was it an attack on DeSantis? An attack on America? And it certainly would be an attack on our intelligence if we allowed Biden to continue to say these things and get away with it. Well, the mainstream media are complicit. They're letting him get away with it, folks. They're letting all of these horrifying people, right? The butcher of Baghdad, right? How about this, right? The hero of Davos. All of these people are the heroes of Davos, folks. Zelensky says it's impossible. He signs a decree that is ruling out peace talks with Putin. I thought we wanted peace. I thought it was make love, not war. Peace, peace, man. Remember those hippies? Peace. And they put up the V symbol. They have their little peace symbol, the inverted, upside down, goofy cross in a circle. Do they want peace or not? No, folks. They don't want any peace. No peace ever. If Zelensky wants peace, folks, that would be a miracle. He's telling us never. It is impossible. Ruling out peace talks. He's signed a decree, not a law. He hasn't signed legislation. He has signed. It's a decree, folks. Who makes a decree? Kings. Dictators sign decrees. Zelensky doesn't want peace, folks, ever. He is a horrible human being. Evil. He will kill his own people until none are left to die for him. Have you figured it out yet? I know the mainstream media hasn't. I know the people haven't figured it out. When you're getting your ass kicked in a war, you can either fight till everyone is dead or you can surrender and sue for peace. You see, he doesn't have the upper hand. He doesn't hold the valuable real estate. He doesn't hold the military high ground. Zelensky knows that if he wants peace, he's going to have to concede. So they don't want that, folks. They would rather have war, death, famine, and pestilence than to give up. Right? This is incredible. Now, in support of, or rather, in addition to Zelensky saying peace is impossible, we'll never sign peace, Poland, the nation of Poland, is now engaged in discussions, talks, political talks, U.S. political military discussions about hosting nuclear weapons for the United States and NATO. What part of this is smart? What part of this helps solve the problem of the technocratic jackasses that are screwing up the world's once successful commerce system? See, that's the problem. They're screwing everything up and they're making it worse. And then they're going to reinforce their decisions. This is how you know, folks, that this Cold War with Russia, with Putin, is basically going to be permanent for the purpose of comparing it to our lives. So I was 22 and the Cold War ended with the Soviet Union. And I'm 52 now, and it started back up with Russia. 30 years in the middle of my life, Russia was not at war with the United States government, but it is once again. Oh, don't worry. In that interim, that 30-year interim, there was plenty of war and death going on. Had Gulf War I, Gulf War II, Afghanistan, all kinds of trash going on, folks. But think about it. What part of all of this military crap is actually helping solve the problem? And who is benefiting from the war? Are any European men and women benefiting? Are children benefiting? Are the retired and elderly benefiting? In Europe, no. Here in America, are we benefiting? No, not a bit. Who benefits? Key bono. Who benefits from this war with Russia? The military-industrial complex, the Central Intelligence Agency. Yep, you bet, folks. That's right where we're at. Governments benefit in war because they get more power. Who do the people, who do you and I need to worry about when shit hits the fan out on our streets, in our state, in our country? That's right. Not only do you have to worry about the lunatics running loose on the street, you have to worry about the government. It is unbelievable, folks, what they're willing to do to us in order to cement their power forever. That's really what this is about, is perpetual confiscation of power. It's not a temporary emergency situation, folks. They want it to be permanent. Now, let's move on to something a little more fun, right? Twitter. Musk has said, I'll buy Twitter for what I originally offered, right? And Twitter stock went nuts. Doesn't mean the economy's fixed. Doesn't mean anything's fixed. It's just people believe, okay, he'll fix that, right? He's going to fix Twitter, which is a communications tool. I don't want to call it social media. It's a communications tool. Right now, that communication is one way. It goes only from socialists and authoritarians down to us. It doesn't have a voice going the other way saying freedom, liberty, etc. Anyways, the Twitter staff, upon hearing that Musk is just going to buy it out, have kind of resumed their exorcist-like head-spinning tantrums. Unbelievable. They feel betrayed. How about when you have power and authority over other people's speech and you silence them? Isn't that a betrayal of freedom of speech? Well, it's interesting, folks. They don't see it that way. Let's look at what they're saying. And this is, folks, not just what Twitter thinks. This is how YouTube thinks. This is how Instagram thinks. This is how Facebook thinks. This is how the U.S. government thinks. Now, Twitter employees see a dark, 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 dark future. They think of working for Twitter not as just a job, but as a higher calling. And they feel betrayed by executives who they believed prioritized shareholder earnings over what's best for free speech Twitter style. Well, guess what? As a publicly traded company, shareholder earnings is much more important than the political aspirations and belief systems. But they still don't seem to realize that. Once you're a publicly traded company, you have to do what is best for the public shareholder. Still, folks, they don't get it, right? Now, Brandon Borman, Twitter's former communications chief, had this to say, right? There's a difference between what the board wants and what employees think is best. People forget that most people that work at Twitter do so because they believe in the company's mission and they want to protect it from anybody. Whether they can do that remains to be seen. No, they can't. They can't protect it. What are they protecting it from? Free speech? They're protecting it from a Republican, libertarian, a freedom angled perspective, right? These Twitter turds don't trust. They don't trust Musk, right? This is what they say about that, right? It's a win for leadership in Twitter getting fat payouts. That's right. The big fat cats on the board and the shareholders, they get big payouts, right? But the regular Twitter employee will now have a wholly unqualified CEO. That would be Musk, right? And he's going to use Twitter to make the world a worse place. That's what they basically said. Now, he also said he suffers, Musk suffers from Dunning-Kruger, which is a cognitive bias disease in which people think they are smarter than they are. How appropriate, how hypocritical, how mirror-tastic is that? These Twitter turds, folks, are the ones suffering from Dunning-Kruger Kruger, a cognitive bias in which they think they are superior and smarter than you and I, and that only their opinions should matter. In fact, this Dunning-Kruger, let's call it a disease or a mental defect, seems to be in place with everyone in the Democrat Party who has power and authority. Now, I know a lot of Republicans, they have power and authority, but they don't use it to demand people obey them and listen to them and follow them and silence anyone who opposes. It's incredible, folks. Yeah. And I mean, let's do this quote again. But the regular Twitter employee will now have a wholly unqualified CEO. Who cares what you think? You're just an employee. See, they seem to think, and this is a big problem with millennials and centennials, folks. And if you're not one of the ones with the problem, don't worry, right? You'll see it. They think that they can run the show, that they know everything there is to know about everything. Ask any millennial folks, ask any of them who have some or no college or a college degree. They'll tell you how smart they are, right? They'll tell you how smart you aren't. They'll tell you how they could be the CEO, CFO, or COO of any company, that anyone can do it. They have no clue, folks. I've actually handed them, right, the tool belt. I've said, here is the desk. Sit in it and run the show that I run. And they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. It's like, yeah, but this is cognitive issues they have, folks. I mean, these people don't understand that, well, they shouldn't have the power that they think they should have. And the power they do have, they misuse and abuse anyways. For example, Biden is peeved. He's pissed off because short-sighted OPEC has made cuts in production. So what happens? Biden comes out and he blames United States energy firms for the pump prices going up. Maybe, folks, Biden should do something about it. Let's see. Maybe Biden can do another fist bump and kiss Prince Salman bin Mohammed or whatever his name is right on his ass and beg for more oil again and then be denied. Folks, Biden is a loser, and his failure he's not paying for. In fact, you and I are paying for his failures every time we need food, fuel, electricity, clothes, etc., etc., etc. His failures are the gains of oil companies. They're the gains of military industrial complex, that is weapons providers. Every time Biden fails, they get rich. The oil companies are getting much more profit for less produced volume. Oil producing countries like Saudi Arabia, they're getting more money for the oil that they do produce, so they don't have to produce as much to get the same money. Everyone gets rich in this scheme, and Biden gets to look like an idiot. The more he screws up, the more they make with less risk. Once again, would you rather make $1 million a year working 40 hours a week, or $1 million a year working 10 hours a week? Well, surely the smartest person and the dumbest person would both come to the conclusion, I'll take the $1 million for 10 hours a week. Much easier to do, right? All right, folks. Right. These heroes of the left aren't going to go away. They wear their failures like a badge. These heroes have medals for stupidity, but they don't quit and they don't go away. Why is that? Ask yourself, why is it that these people won't quit and won't go away? Because they're being rewarded. They are heroes. Not your hero, not my hero, but they are heroes nonetheless. Now, John Fetterman, right? The socialist Democrat who looks like Uncle Satan Fester. He's a Senate candidate in Pennsylvania, folks. He was the only yes vote to release a man convicted of killing a 17-year-old teenager. This guy bashed the man to death with a baseball bat. And there was a hearing to have him released from prison. And John Fetterman, Senate candidate, Democrat, was the only yes vote. Folks, this is the same Uncle Fester lookalike who gets an allowance from his parents and lives at home still, or did until he was, 45 or 50? You want satire, folks? You want humor? I can't write it better than the reality show, reality TV that is the Democrat Socialist Party. They provide us content for free. Now, I do want to thank you, folks, because there is no free for us to be here. You support us very well, and we thank you for it. Jolene, with her efforts, supports this channel. Uman, Kaz, Vaughn, Crispy Bacon, all of you who support us, thank you. We don't get a free ride here. Everyone who contributes $2 monthly on the preparedmind.club for the premium membership, thank you. We cannot do it without everyone giving up something for it. These lunatic leftists, they get paid, and they get paid big money, and that's why they don't quit. We're here, and we don't get paid big money. We just want truth, we want fact, and we want freedom. And I'll give you some more, folks. I'll give you some more. They don't like what we are and who we are. The insane, retarded, hate-filled, racist, intolerant, jackastic liberal media, folks. Guess what they're doing? They are going after Senate candidate Herschel Walker. You know, the great Georgia college football star, the great NFL football star. Why? The media says, quote, he's not black enough. Can you believe that? I could have sworn that a long time ago, Martin Luther King Jr., every city in this country has a road, a street, a boulevard named after him. He says he wanted to be judged on the content of his character and had nothing to do with the color of his skin, right? Well, here we are, folks. This is how they want to play the game. You're not black enough. Does that mean Herschel needs to go to a tanning booth? That he needs to spend more time in the sun? Or are they making a claim that to be black means you have to not be a Republican, you have to be a socialist Democrat supporter? That's really what they're saying. It truly is what they're saying. And they're so enamored with their own belief systems, and they're so hate-filled toward what you want, freedom and liberty, that they can't even see how they are the racists. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Now, I'm going to jump back into some social media fun here, folks. In Ukraine, right? Zelensky has made a Twitter post. Now, why is it that Zelensky, whose military has committed war atrocities, and Zelensky is saying, I don't want peace, never any peace. We're not going to have peace, right? Which the opposite of is saying that all they want is war. Or rather, the inverse saying is all they want is war. War, war, and more war. How come he has a Twitter account, but President Trump doesn't? So Zelensky, supporter of his military, which commits atrocities that he just says, it is what it is. He did a Twitter poll and he labeled Elon Musk a Russia supporter because Elon Musk asked for peace in Ukraine. And so, yeah, Elon Musk gets the dirty word phrase, Russia supporter. And I just thought, oh my, I bet Elon Musk is going to lose a bunch of sleep, fat chance, right? Now, what do we get to call Zelensky in a flippant moment for allowing his military to commit war atrocities against civilians? Do we get to call him a war criminal? Well, we ought to, because he is. I'm pretty sure that being a supporter of peace, like Musk, is not a crime, while being a war criminal and supporting a war criminal organization, the Ukrainian military, that is a crime. You see how they turn a non-crime into a crime for those they politically don't like, while those who are committing crimes, the Bidens, the Zelenskys of the world. They commit crimes and then they don't get called criminal. It is upside down. It is backwards. It has hit the fan. Now get this. This is going to frost your cake. Governor DeSantis down there in the great state of Florida. And I do, folks. I enjoyed my time in Florida. He spoke out because 3 of the 4 people who have been arrested for looting in Florida are illegal aliens. That's right, folks. A hurricane has struck. President Biden comes down and uses it for political posturing and gain. Makes up lies and bullshits and stories. But illegals are down here, folks. Who let in the illegals? Joe Biden let in the illegals. He's let in 5 million of them now. That's a good estimate, folks. Joe Biden is not denying it. When the numbers come out and they say, hey, look, there's 4.5, almost 5 million illegals here since Joe became president. The White House doesn't deny it. Folks, looters used to be shot. They used to be shot. Down there in southern Florida, they have had their cities destroyed, their homes destroyed, their streets destroyed, their schools destroyed, their stores destroyed, their highways destroyed, farms, fields destroyed, flooded. And looters come in to steal while people can't be there, while people are upset, while people are missing. They come in and they steal other people's property. It's called looting. They used to be shot. So Governor DeSantis says, quote, they need to go back. They need to be sent back to their home country. Illegal aliens, folks, they're here to take advantage of us. You and me, our country. They take money out of my pocket and your pocket by getting taxpayer dollars. And when they're not getting those, or rather, as they get those, and in addition to the free money they get from you and me because the government steals our money in taxes and then hands it out, they go on and say that's not enough. Now we're going to loot. We're going to steal from people who are in a tragic situation. Did Joe Biden talk about the looters? Did he apologize for them? Did he excuse them away, or did he just pretend like they're not there? That's it, folks, because he doesn't want to have to answer for it. That these are people he let into the country to take further advantage of, to hurt Americans even more. Yeah, folks, this guy is a hero. As the country gets destroyed one piece at a time, Joe Biden is a hero. It's unbelievable, folks. Joe Biden, what has he been doing? Well, Joe Biden has been giving and wants to give generously your taxpayer dollars, not just to illegal aliens, but he is giving billions of dollars to the Iranian government. You're aware of that, right? Well, Iran, folks, right now, their regime has kidnapped, raped, tortured, and killed a 17-year-old girl, and then hid the body from the family. The Iranian government, folks, they're not very nice. Why is Joe Biden giving them billions of dollars? Right? And while we're questioning Joe Biden giving money away to the absolutely filthy and corrupt Iran regime, why has he given $100 billion in our money to Ukraine, whose military commits war atrocities? And even Zelensky doesn't deny when asked about it. He just says it is what it is. Our country is decimated, destroyed. The border, industry, energy, natural disasters, and Biden wants to give billions of dollars away to countries that torture, rape, and murder their own citizens. Yeah, folks, Zelensky's army, the Azov battalion, went off and killed Ukraine citizens because they were of Russian descent. How does that make a lick of sense, folks? And this is before Russia. This is before Russia invaded rolled their military in to protect Donetsk, Luhansk, right? Well, we know why. There's some absolutely awful people. They're destroying those countries and they're destroying ours. But don't worry, they're heroes. They're heroes. In fact, folks, we have heroes at that big, magnificent level like Zelensky. And then we have little heroes in states, right? In the states here, in the United States, like the one that was caught by Project Veritas, right? The guy who claimed to be an anarchist and said he's going to burn down the system. Well, they had a meeting. The Tulsa principal of this school begged her staff not to record her at the meeting where they addressed this anarchist middle school teacher, Tyler Rynn. Tyler Rynn, W-R-Y-N-N. Now here's a quote from the principal. There is no secret. Please take your phones off. Don't videotape me, please. Don't put this on social media. Don't make me feel like Project Veritas is with us. We just have to be careful right now. Everybody's got their phones out, she said. Then she goes on to say this. There is no secret curriculum at Rogers. That's the name of the school. There is nobody that's got woke politics here. I do not believe for 1 minute that there is a radical agenda in anybody's class in this school, she said. Really, if there is no secret, then why worry about being recorded? You're a public official at a public meeting. And if there are no woke politics, as she claimed, then why did this teacher jackass Tyler say, quote, I'm an authority figure, so, hey, if your parents don't love you and support you, fuck them. I'm your parent now. I want to burn down the entire system. Does that sound like woke politics? If it's not woke politics, I don't know what it is. Folks, this principal continued her ridiculous excuses and said, quote, we have to stand behind each other, even if we don't agree, even if we don't agree with each other. So the socialist, evil, Democrat, woke scum will stand behind others they don't agree with while they tell children, fuck your parents, and I want to burn down the system. I don't recall any Democrat out there saying that they'll stand behind me, they'll support me, even if we don't agree. Oh, it's quite the opposite. Right? These heroes, folks, in the schools and these heroes in government, they all talk about wanting peace while they push for war. They all talk about wanting to fix the problems while making them worse. They all pretend that they're tolerant when they're the least tolerant amongst us. Unbelievable. Let's do this. Let us get to the Q&A. So get your questions into Jolene. Get them in there, whatever it is. History, future, events, predictions, whatever you want to talk about. I am very excited. I want to know what's on your mind.
Are you ready?
Okay, we are back. All right, let us do this. Let us start off. Jolene, who do we have up first in the Q&A? It is David. And he says, looks like we might see that $10 gas you talked about months ago. Oh, yeah, folks, when fuel went from $2 to $3 to $5 to $7. And there's a prediction. Could we, by year end, see $10 a gallon gas? And I said, it's very possible. It's very possible. And now, here it comes again. We got a little reprieve, if you will, from high prices. They came back down a little bit. And of course, Biden jumped out front, taking credit for all of it, while he denied taking credit and responsibility for the increases. Funny how political leaders, yeah, my ass, accept no responsibility and want full credit for anything good. Unbelievable, folks. They have this ability to lie to us, right? They think of themselves as heroes. Unbelievable. Now, speaking of people who think they're heroes, doctors have been told far too long now that they're heroes. It's incredible, folks. This doctor was surprised when this happened. Let me read to you the tweet and then the response from another doctor who tweeted back. Dr. Stephanie Cooper shared on her Twitter followers that she was surprised when one of her patients actually declined a blood transfusion if the donor had actually gotten the Jim Jones juice, a vaccination against COVID-19. And she wrote, quote, "So this was the first for me. A patient declined blood transfusion if the donor had received a COVID vaccination." And the reply from another doctor expressed the same statement or sentiment. "Sadly, we've had a couple of patients here with the same beliefs." Now, I go, interesting, isn't it? Gee whiz. Why would people who have seen the damage caused by the Jim Jones juice and spike proteins worry about a direct injection of biological sludge into their body? It's incredible. Would you want someone who had a serious blood disease to give you blood to put in your body? The answer is obviously no, not at all. Unbelievable, folks. It's like they don't even see the problem. Now, there was some news that was shared, and hopefully I can get to it. And I'll get to it right now. The Informed Consent Action Network, ICANN, it won its lawsuit and forced the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, to turn over COVID vaccine injury data. They won, folks, and the data shows something horrific. 7.7% of people who got the Jim Jones juice sought medical care after taking it. And 25%, one in four people, one of these four, for every four people, one of them had a serious side effect. Side effects include, folks, right? Headache, nausea, nosebleed, pass out, shortness of breath, dizziness, numbness of limbs, numbness of face, blindness, deafness, immobility, seizures, quakes, shitting their pants, heart attack. 25% have serious side effects. Is it any wonder that we saw people who were on stage passing out? Like the nurse, the first person to take it on camera, passed out, died. 25% have serious side effects. Not mild side effects, serious side effects. Thank you, Informed Consent Action Network, for winning that lawsuit. Unbelievable, folks. No wonder people don't want to take blood, folks, from people who have gotten vaccinated. Unbelievable. Let's do this now. Let's get to who's next. And if you've got a comment, get your comments in. The whole way through this, folks, you can throw your comments in and Jolene will throw them at me. Yankee Watchdog says this: heroes of the left? Shouldn't that word start with a Z? Zeros of the left. Yes, sir. There's some wit, some satire, some cynicism from Yankee Watchdog. Yeah. Who was it that took that picture with Representative Boebert? There we go. Unbelievable, folks. The zeros of the left. The not heroes, they're zeros. Well, let me give you one more. I'm going to up this one more, folks. Are you ready? The education sexual... it's supposed to be secretary. I almost said the education sexualizer. The education secretary, Miguel Cardona, Biden's education czar. He said this, that students need access to abortion to thrive in school and in life. Need? Children need? Well, not children, students. It's the same thing. Students are children. It's not students need access. They want children to have access to abortion. What does access mean? It means they want them to be able to get it whenever they want and keep it secret from their parents. Children need access to abortion to thrive in school. Since when does abortion and education have anything to do with one another? And after education in life, why do students need access so they can thrive? Abortion helps people thrive. Thrive, folks. Look at the word thrive. Means to prosper, right? To live well. In order to thrive in school and life, they need access to abortions. Why not? In order for children to thrive in school and in life, they need fentanyl. In order for children to thrive in life, they need methamphetamines. In order for children to thrive in life, they need to cut off their genitals. In order for children to thrive in school and in life, I mean, throw anything in here negative and destructive. Negative and destructive. How many kids are dying, folks, of drug overdose? How many kids are not thriving because they're taking drugs? That's a much bigger problem, don't you think, than they're giving it any credit for? Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, folks, these people are sick. This is the highest educator in the country at the federal level. And he thinks kids need that shit. All righty, Jolene. Who do we got next? And we've got Heidi. She said this. I read about a music teacher that noticed that her students who have had the Jim Jones juice are starting to have brain glitches, forgetting clefs, whole bars of music, and even right and left. Thank you very much, Heidi, and thank you for all your humor, support, and that is behind the scenes, folks. Heidi gives me a hard time and sends lots of messages to support. Let's put that back up there if we could, Jolene. Students are having brain glitches. I mean, what is a brain glitch, right? You get a little twitch going. Forgetting stuff. They're forgetting. They're becoming more forgetful. They're even having trouble understanding the difference between the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen. For me, this is my left hand, but it's on the right side of the screen that you get to see. But let's think about this. The brain. The brain is essentially a biological hard drive. Right? Information gets put into it, and it takes circulation of blood and oxygen flowing freely from the heart and lungs up to the brain and then back, always replenishing and feeding the brain to maintain this memory, to maintain the hard drive. If there are microclots forming in the brain, then certain areas where they get clotted, the blood can no longer flow through. It just flows up to and stops. It can't flow through, pass on the nutrients, pass on the oxygen, then flow back through. It goes and it's in a roadblock. That, my friends, is called a clot. Whether the clot is huge or whether the clot is small, they can have huge impact. In fact, these small clots, the clot shot at the capillary end, folks, right? In your arm, your muscles, everywhere in your body, we go from big veins and arteries down to smaller and smaller and smaller until they're so small, only one cell, red blood cell, can go through. And it is then that it can transfer and pass off its nutrients and oxygen and then take on waste products and CO2 and deliver them out of the body. 1 blood cell wide. So it takes what? 2 clotted blood cells to block it. So the brain on these children, folks, right now, and I'm sad to report this, it is what I believe, but it's not just the children, it's the young adults, it's the old adults who are having the same phenomena happen. They're getting clots in their brain, and they're starting to kill portions of their brain off. How to do music. They're having glitches. They're forgetting, not understanding left and right. How many times do you and I have to talk about zombies? Zombies. What is a zombie, folks? Someone who is the walking dead. Good as dead. Dead to the world intelligently. But still, they're animated. They're moving around. They're walking. They make noise, talk, grunt, breathe. But they're slow. They're lethargic. They don't appear intelligent. But they're violent. And they attack people. Right now, we have the zombification of the population, and I believe it's occurring. And I'm not making this up, folks, and I'm not saying it to scare people. I'm praying that there's an end to this, that this mRNA goop, this biological sludge that they've pumped into people directly into their muscles and into their bloodstreams, I'm hoping that it breaks down, loses effect, and passes through them and leaves forever. So will the attack on the intelligent mind be permanent, or will these people remember their music and remember left and right and regain full function of their brain? Or is the damage permanent? Or will the damage continue and be progressive? So they become progressively more and more and more and more stupid, progressively more and more and more and more violent. Right now, that's what we're seeing, in my opinion. We're seeing people becoming more violent. And as they talk and discuss things, they also become more stupid. I mean, literally, who the hell would stand up and say, well, the students, in order to thrive in life, need abortion access? How is that an intelligent statement? Under no circumstances will we seek peace with Putin. So what you're saying is all you want is war. Unbelievable, folks. They're telling us exactly who they are. They're not hiding it. They're not hiding it. I mean, to continue with Heidi's information, Moderna and Pfizer, we can take down the Heidi now, Jolene, thank you. Moderna and Pfizer have started phase 3. They're in their phase 3 trial of the mRNA flu vaccine. I did not say COVID. I did not say Omicron. I did not say Delta. Phase 3 flu vaccine with new and improved mRNA super juice. Who pushed all this on us, folks? The World Economic Forum and Dr. Fauci.
With COVID, I mean, the things that we thought we knew in the beginning turned out as the months went by to not be the case, which really forced us to adapt and to change some of our policies and recommendations. That was interpreted by many as flip-flopping or not really knowing what's going on, when it really was the evolution of the science.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
Yes, fuck you, Dr. Fauci. Moderna and Pfizer, folks, are starting phase 3. They're trying to prove that their shit works. If it didn't work on the coronavirus, why would it work on another coronavirus? If it doesn't work on one, it won't work on any. And now again, remember this, folks. See, I don't have a problem remembering shit. Unlike these kids and adults who have taken the mRNA sick sauce, Jim Jones juice, clot shot. We took the polio vaccine as well as other vaccines that actually work as kids, and we have for our entire lives built an immunity, an immune response that's permanent to protect us from these diseases. This mRNA crap at best lasts a couple of months, and that is on a claim that it does build immunity. They can't even prove that it builds immunity, folks. They're assuming it does, and then it goes away. How good is it if it goes away? I mean, literally, you want to continue to put this genetic garbage in your body every 3 months? Give me another shot. Give me another shot. Give me another shot. Give me another shot. 4 shots in a year? Give me one every quarter. Put this DNA sludge in there. Tell you what, watch this movie called Prometheus. Watch the movie Prometheus, the very beginning, the first 10 minutes, as one of the godlike engineers swallows some black goo, some DNA manipulating sludge, and the dude disintegrates on camera. Disintegrates, falls apart. I can't tell you, folks, how seeing that the first time immediately made me think of these genetic experiments they're doing. And then lo and behold, years later, we get mRNA vaccines. Unbelievable. But, well, Moderna and Pfizer, phase 3. How about injuries? No, let's not discuss the 1 in 4 people who have a serious injury and the 7.7% who end up having to get medical attention for the serious injuries that occurred. Unbelievable, folks. Literally unbelievable. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this as well. I put on my evil video the other morning. Not this morning, but the morning before. It was about evil. And it was too radical and too unbelievable for people to believe that there are actually Satanists out there in Washington, D.C., in Davos, in London, in the Vatican, in Paris, in Brussels. They don't want to believe in evil and these people that worship it, right? And as predicted by me on my side, I was like, I'm going to do this video, and I know there's not going to be many people watching it, even though it will be based on 100% fact and truth. I knew that the turnout, and it did get fewer views because people don't want to consider evil. They don't want to think it's real. They're like, oh, don't be so dramatic. Get this. Disney had a cartoon called Little Demon. It was about a woman who was impregnated by Satan, and her little demon came out, her daughter, the Antichrist daughter, little demon. This is a far cry, folks, from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, from Cinderella. This is a far cry from Princess Jasmine and Ariel, right? The Little Mermaid. This is not Pocahontas, right? All of these little princess things, right, that Disney pushes. Now the little princess they wanted to bring out was the Antichrist born whose father was Satan. Well, Disney canceled this release. Me talking about real evil, too radical, too unbelievable. But Disney actually was making a cartoon to celebrate this idea. Folks, they've gone all the way from Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, to Little Demon. Promoting drag queen events, having LGBT pride parades at Disneyland. Unbelievable. And people want to say, when I talk about evil, no, it's just too much, John. You need to face the facts, folks. We've got some evil in the world. And it's not going away. It's not giving up. They'll back off a little bit here, like Disney's backed off and canceled the release of their shithole of a story, Little Demon. Can you believe it? I mean, I can believe it. It disgusted me, but I can believe it. Let's do this. Let's get to another comment, another topic that you guys have chosen. And we got Sally Sue, who says, I don't know if you've addressed this, but I'm just hearing about a potato and tomato shortage. Have you heard anything about this, and what's behind it? We're seeing food shortages, folks. I'm getting reports of them, if you will. from around the country. Now, down in Florida, guess what there is still? Well, before the hurricane hit, stores sold out of, well, not only water, but also eggs. Why eggs? Why did Floridians buy the shelves clean of eggs? Well, because eggs don't have to stay in the fridge. Eggs can be stored on the countertop at room temperature. They don't go bad. The same way you can, hide Easter eggs, put them out in the garden in the spring, and they get really warm, and kids eventually find them and eat them, and no one dies. Right? Eggs. But tomatoes, potatoes, we've seen shortages of vegetables in the stores, folks. We've seen shortages of meat. Now, Florida has a localized issue with eggs, right? And then they'll probably be restored back to full capacity, lots of eggs everywhere. But yeah, we're going to see it. I hear little tidbits. This area of the country, say New Mexico, has a little problem. I can hear about Ohio having problems with certain types of foods, keeping them in stock. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your ears to the ground. Keep your mind open, folks, as we continue to see and hear some incredible stuff. Not because we want to say, yeah, we're right, we knew it all along, but because we need to know that we were right all along and that prepping is the way to go, and we need to continue to talk about it, learn what's happening, and share with others. That's why I say, folks, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, but I'd rather have you subscribed as a premium member at thepreparedmind.club. Any pennies that YouTube pays us for YouTube views, I would rather see come through the preparedmind.club so Google doesn't get any, and people have direct access to this show. You see, the other day I got a strike from YouTube also, right? Monday I got a strike. My brother Jimmy had to come on at the RMZ, wake his sorry ass up and have some fun, but they reversed it because it was bullshit. Right? But that's the control and power they have over us, even though that is now, folks, being seriously challenged in court. Seriously challenged in court. Crazy, folks. Absolutely crazy. Right? I want to go back to Zelensky and Ukraine and the war around the world. Greenwald wrote an article and said, no one is talking about ending the Ukraine war because they fear being labeled a traitor. Folks, do you remember saying, we want peace? We don't want war with Iraq. It was okay to say that. Now, we didn't attack the troops, but we were like, hey, we don't need all these wars. We didn't blame the troops for the decisions made by politicians, right? Calling them baby killers, like the Democrats did, while, of course, they support abortion, which is killing babies. Folks, only traitors to the Constitution want this war in Ukraine to persist, right? They want World War III started. These people started the war in Ukraine with Russia. They caused it to happen. So to put this out there where they think and want us to believe that if we ask for peace, we're going to be labeled traitors. We're not selling out the world, folks. We're not selling out the country. We're not selling out our neighbors. We're not selling out anything. They, on the other hand, are selling out. They're selling our oil. They're selling our raw materials. They're selling our military. They're selling everything they can. Who is they? Those people with power in Washington, D.C. That's who they are. Are you prepared? Do you see where this is going? I did quite a little video on the CIA this morning, Central Intelligence Agency. Know where we're at, folks, right? Is the CIA, are they heroes? Or are they something else? Unbelievable, folks. Nancy Pelosi, she says that Florida should keep immigrants here while they're illegals, but keep them here to pick crops instead of sending them up to Martha's Vineyard, right? Who are the heroes? Who aren't? Who wants war? Who doesn't? Who wants America's prosperity and who wants to destroy America? Who is in power and who isn't? When you answer those questions, and you can, go ahead and rewind the video and play those questions again, folks. Play them again and then ask, who wants what? Right? And which way are we going? Right? I'm going to do one more thing. I'm not going to let this one end right here. And I'm going to do this. If you don't want to be disturbed by the topic, go ahead and turn off the sound until I wave my hands, which means it's safe to listen again. But Kari Lake is running for governor in Arizona. And there's a journalist trying to ask a gotcha question about abortion. So this awful discussion is one I want to have about this, right? The gotcha reporter said to Kari Lake, quote, abortion is effectively banned in the state right now. Is that something you support? Meaning Arizona has basically banned abortion. Kari Lake, female, woman, candidate for governor, Make America Great Again candidate, said, quote, I support saving as many lives as possible. That's what she said, denying the reporter's soundbite. And then she said this, quote, and what I really want to know, and I've been waiting, I tune into you guys all the time, meaning the mainstream media. I want to know where Katie Hobbs stands. I never hear you guys ask her that. Katie Hobbs being the Democrat candidate for governor in Arizona, who refuses to debate or come out. How about this, folks? How about some new groups out there? How about BLM, Baby Lives Matter? How about BBLM, Black Baby Lives Matter? Why do the lives of criminal scum like St. George Floyd matter, but innocent babies' lives don't? Why doesn't the black community see abortion as killing their people intentionally and supported by white liberal Democrats? Why do Democrats, folks, always fall back on rape and incest as the reasons why all abortions have to be allowed when they are a small percentage of the abortions performed? It's an illogical argument using a serious, false, emotional narrative. If the majority, folks, rules and is more important than any minority group in democracy, then destroying 100 babies, killing 100 babies, taking 100 babies' lives to save the lives or the dignity of 5 mothers seems very undemocratic, doesn't it? Because we're told that in democracy, the majority should win. So why do 100 babies have to die in order for 5 undignified mothers to save face? All right, let's face it, folks, the dignity and comfort of parents who are irresponsible are why Democrats love abortion. Let's use these examples, okay? Let's use these examples. Would it be okay to kill you because someone felt embarrassed you existed? Right? And folks, I was nearly destroyed by an evil group of people. So if you embarrass somebody, is it okay to kill you? But you're like, no. Just because I'm embarrassed or you're embarrassed doesn't give you a right to kill anyone else. But embarrassed adults, that is people who get pregnant and don't want to face the consequences and have everyone know about it. Embarrassed adults can kill babies who can't object or defend themselves or scream in pain and terror at what is done to them. That's right. Unborn babies cannot scream in terror and pain. They can't defend themselves. They can't object. They don't get a vote. Is it okay to kill you or me because someone else has a healthy condition, an unhealthy condition, and could die? No. So I can't say, you know what, I could die, so it's okay to kill someone else. But killing a baby with abortion is fine if an adult is having an unhealthy risk. See, those at risk can kill, but babies who can't fight back, defend themselves, or scream in pain so the world hears them, they get to die. Democrats always claim the tiniest percentage of cases justifies the killing of any and all babies indiscriminately by anyone wanting to have an abortion for any reason, whether they think they've got a health condition or they're going to be embarrassed by it or they can't afford it. If I can't afford to live, does that give me a right to go and kill someone else? So to claim that, well, I'm going to have a baby and I won't be able to afford it, so I get to kill that baby, right? Just because I don't have the money to pay for me doesn't mean I get to go around killing people. But abortion supporters say, well, I can't afford the baby. It's too embarrassing. It's a health risk. And so they call it women's health to be able to kill babies. Is it okay to kill you because someone else has an unhealthy condition and could die? But killing a baby is fine, folks, if an adult is at risk. Those at risk can kill. But babies who can't fight back or defend themselves or scream in pain so the world hears them, it's okay to kill them, right? Democrats always claim, folks, always make these claims, right? Do you see the lies of these Democrats? Majority rules unless it's their minority position. Folks, I have heard, trust me, I've had private conversations with many people who have very passionate arguments about their belief that it should be legitimate and that their reason is good enough to keep the procedure in place. But is killing millions of innocent babies justified in order to save a tiny percentage or keep the dignity of a few in place? Now, I get this, folks, and understand me. I understand rape and incest, the arguments, right? It's kind of hard to argue against them because there's an emotional response there. Does the child that is conceived bear responsibility for what the rape did? Right? I understand the argument. Trust me, it's difficult. Does the child bear responsibility for what the parents did or what happened? And I know that incest creates massive health issues. See, I understand how these are argued as legitimate cases and reasoning behind it. But what percentage of abortions come from that? Right? The dignity argument, folks, is the big one. When a criminal is caught and prosecuted and punished, does their dignity matter or their privacy, their right to privacy? No. But for abortion, folks, they want the full protection of the self. So a baby, a human, a real person has to be killed. Right? It's kind of like these other leftists, in a way, say they are offended. They're embarrassed. They're micro-triggered by something you said. And it's so offensive that they believe they have a right to lash out and hurt others. It's people that want abortion. They're so offended, folks, by the idea of pregnancy and the idea that they're actually responsible for their own lives, that they think that they need to kill the baby. Right? Right. And men can't talk or have an opinion, right? Because men are stupid and only women know about abortion, life, pregnancy, and yada, yada, yada. But wait a minute. Men can be pregnant now, right? Men can get pregnant now, the left says. So I guess I can talk about this topic. It's awful, folks, what is being done out there in the name of science, what is being done out there in the name of human dignity, in the name of freedom and liberty and choice. Free choice. But you don't have a choice when the government says you must pay your taxes so we can send that money to Zelensky, who is killing his own people. You must pay your taxes so the U.S. government can send your money to Iran, where they're killing people. You must do this. You must do that. You don't have a choice. It's incredible, folks. The hypocrisy, the lies, shit has hit the fan. Logic and reason seem to be lost. Common sense doesn't have a place anymore. Not out there in that world, folks. Not up there. But for you and I here, we get to talk about reality and discuss things. Now, I'm not always right, and I know it. But I like to bring up discussions, topics, subjects, so that we can go over things. Right? That's the point, is to go over things and think about it. You don't have to agree with me to be here, but we do bring up some very interesting topics to discuss. I want to thank you for joining me. Oh, it's now safe to listen. It's a tough subject, folks. It's particularly tough and made to be that way so people won't have the topic. It is emotional, and so defending your position becomes an emotional fight. It's very difficult business to be a responsible human being, an adult. It's very difficult. Shit is hitting the fan out there big time. In China, in North Korea, in Iran, in Africa, in South Africa, in America, in South America, Central America, in Europe, in Eastern Europe, in Russia, and even right here at home, and in Australia and Canada. Get prepared. Get prepared, folks. Things aren't getting better. They're becoming more difficult. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed. Semper Fi. I'll talk to you guys at 0 dark 30 tomorrow. Be cool. Be safe. Always be prepared.